Here's a tutorial on how to do the graphics project for linear equalities. First thing you need to do, which is maybe the easy part, is to figure out what your drawing is going to be. Like it says in the instructions, you need to make the drawing out of polygons, so you can't have like a big circle. You need to make things that are kind of like trapezoids or quadrilaterals. In this case, in the original drawing, I chose Totoro, and in this one here, I'm choosing Yogi Bear because they both have kind of faces that are polygons. Okay, and I'm not going to show you how to do all of Yogi Bear, but I'm going to show you how to do a few parts of him. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is the bottom layer. And the bottom layer would be the part that's like the background for his face. So I would say that that is this part here, the part that's like, you know, all brown here. You want to color that in first and then put everything else on top of it. So let's figure out how we would do that. And so we're going to, let's see, draw in the second one for the bottom layer. We're just going to draw this part of him, and it's kind of like a pentagon, isn't it? It doesn't have to be exactly like you drew it in the first picture, but kind of like it. We do want to try to like make the lines end at certain points. So like, for example, I'm going to make one of the lines end here. I'm just going to, you know, figure out what points on the grid are close. And I think I found points. Okay, it's kind of easier if you use whole numbers instead of fractions, so I'm going to put them here. Alright, and then I've got to write the equations for these lines, and the easiest one is probably this horizontal line here, right? So I'm going to write the equation for this horizontal line here. It looks like it's going to be y is less than 3, right? So that's one of the lines. How do I know it's less than 3? Because I want to color in below the line, right? How about this line here? It's really handy to be able to use point slope form, which looks like that. Okay, the reason why is because all you need to do is take one of the points, like for example, I'm going to take this point here and use this as a reference. The ordered pair for this point is -2, 0, right? Or -2, 3. So I'm going to draw a line that goes through that point. I'm going to use point slope form. So do you see how point slope form has an x1 and a y1 reserved here? So the x1 is that, the y1 is that, and I'm going to find the slope, which is m. How do I find the slope? Just like I usually do, I make a little triangle here. The rise is going to be 4, +4, and the run is going to be +2. So the slope is 4 divided by 2, which is basically 2, right? So I'm going to write y minus y1, which is 3. And then I'm going to subtract, or I'm going to say greater than or less than. We're going to see which one it's going to be. And the m value we just found is 4/2, which is 2. And then x minus x1, which is -2. So it's x plus 2, right? So that's the point slope form. And then basically in this case, we are going to shade below the line, right? And if we're going to shade below the line, then we're going to put here y -3 is less than, okay? And so we continue on. We're gonna write an equation for each one of these lines. This one here, this line, let's use this point here. This point here is -4, -1. And then I'm going to find the slope here. The slope here is going to be the rise is -4 and the run is 2. So the m value is going to be -4 divided by 2, which is -2. And then let's check to see if it's going to be less than or equal to. So it's going to be y minus -1, so it's y plus 1, less than or equal to, and then -2 is the m value, and then x minus, and the x1 value is negative 4, so it's x plus 4. And then, let's see, is it going to be less than or greater than? So in this case, we're going to shade above the line, so in that case, it's going to be greater than. So we're going to change this to greater than. Okay, and then I'm going to do these two lines here on the other side. So this point here looks like it's 2, 3. And the slope here looks like it's the same as the previous slope, so that's slope of negative 2. So I'm going to write y minus 3, because it's 3 here, is less than the m value, which is negative 2, x minus 2. Okay, and then let's see, we're going to check. So we're shading below the line, so that would be less than. Okay. And then finally this last line here. This line here, it's going through this point here, which is 4, negative 1. And the slope here for this one is 2, so I'm going to write y minus a negative 1, so y plus 1 is maybe less than or greater than. We need to figure that out. The slope is 2, right? And then the x minus 4, because there's a 4 here, right? Now let's figure out if it's less than or greater than. Well, we're shading inside, so that would be greater than, right? Okay. So now we have 4 equations, which we're going to use in our program to make this polygon in the program. So I'm highlighting all the equations here, and I'm going to copy them to the next screen. So just hold on for a second while I copy these to the next screen. What you're going to do to make your drawing is you're going to draw each one of your polygons here, here. Okay, you're going to use this graph paper and other additional graph paper that I can give you to draw each one of your layers. Okay, so I'm going to need at least 2 layers, right? Because I have the bottom brown layer, and then I have his nose, which is kind of a lighter brown, right? So let's say it's this gray or something. So this part is going to be another polygon, which is going to be a little bit smaller. It'll be kind of like that. And then so I would repeat the process with this, but I'm not going to show you how to do that here. Okay? So I'm going to just show you how to take the brown part and transfer that to the program. So hold on a second. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how to translate this to code. So you have your equations from the brown face written here in the bottom layer equations part. You have several equations here, and we're going to translate these to code. So the way you do that is you start out with an if statement, and it's okay, you don't really need to understand this part because this part's already in the code. All you need to do is do the part that's after the if. So first you write if, and then after that you put a parentheses, and that parentheses is going to have like all of your equations inside of it. So I have a left parentheses at the top and I have a right parentheses at the bottom. Now I'm going to put each one of the equations in here. So I'm going to put if, and each one of the equations I'm going to enclose in another set of parentheses. So for example, the y minus 3 less than 2 times, and you notice I put an asterisk for the times. I'm going to write exactly like it's written there, except for I do have a time sign, and in the original I do not, right? And then I'm going to enclose those in an additional set of parentheses. And after I do each one, I'm going to say double and, which basically says, oh yeah, I want to and this with the next one, okay? And that just means that I want them all to be true to color in, okay? And so the next one's going to be y is less than 3. And if you want to, you can put additional spaces in here to make it easier to read like I'm doing. The next one is going to be y minus 3 is less than negative 2 times x minus 2. And the next one's going to be y plus 1 is greater than 2 times x minus 4. Now the parentheses, oops, I forgot a parentheses here. You see that? You got to be careful with that. You always have to have an additional set of parentheses around the whole thing. And then finally, the last one, y plus 1 is greater than negative 2 times x plus 4. And then that was the last set of parentheses, and I'm going to get rid of all these extra spaces. Okay? All right. And this is what I'm going to put in the program. So hold on one second, I'm going to do that. Okay, so how do you get to the template in the Khan Academy page? You're going to go to your math class in Schoology, and then you're going to click on linear equalities. And you're going to click a couple times on the links. Eventually, you're going to get to this Google folder. In the Google folder, you're going to go to week 4. And inside week 4, you're going to see the assignments for today. And one of the things is going to be, let's see, begin summative project. So we're going to go down a little bit, and then you can see the picture of my first project. And then it says there's a template for the graphics project here. You're just going to click on that. And then after you do that, for sure you want to log in to your Khan Academy. In my case, I'm logged in here, see? So log in there because you want to make sure that your work is saved every time you work on it, okay? And it goes right to the graphing template. And inside the graphing template, there's going to be the picture that I already drew. But you don't want to use that, right? You are actually going to make your own. And the way you're going to make your own is you scroll down and it says spin-off, and you're going to press that. And then you're going to make your own name of it. So I'm going to say, oh, Yogi Bear. And then it's going to save a new file for you, and you can modify that however you want to. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in here. I'm going to wait for it to save here. There it is. Sometimes it's a little bit slow. And then you see there's a lot of programming here that you're not going to understand, but that's fine. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the part that says, let's see, the part where it says do not program below this line, above this line. That's where you're going to say, that's where you're going to start. It says your shapes and details go here, okay? And so we're going to go to the part where it says bottom layer. So the bottom layer right now is this gray shape, and we don't want that bottom layer. We want the Yogi Bear shape. So we're going to replace these lines here with our lines. So I'm just going to empty out each one of these by highlighting them and deleting what's in here. And I'm going to replace them with the commands that we wrote in our form. And you notice how the if left parentheses is already here, the right parentheses is already here, so you don't need to write that. You just need to write your equations. So my equations are, let's see, y minus 3 is less than 2 times x plus 2. And then the next one is y minus 2. Now y is less than 3. And if you just, I can't show you both at the same time, but I'm just copying it out of the ones I wrote earlier. X minus 2. And finally, y plus 1 is greater than, oh wow, it's changing before our eyes. Isn't that cool? It's turning into Yogi Bear's face, and you can see it's almost done. Now, I do need to do this part here, right? It's not cut off there, so we need to actually add a new one here. Y plus 1 is greater than negative 2 times x plus 4. Okay. And now it is Yogi Bear's head's shape, okay, except for the rest of it is not Yogi Bear's face. And the other thing that we need to do to really make it look like Yogi Bear's face is instead of the gray color, we're going to make it a brown color. So we are going to look for a brown shade. Where is brown? Maybe around here. Oh, there it is. We've got a brown shade. Okay. Oops. Okay, let me try that again. I kind of ruined it. Okay. Okay. It's complaining because I didn't put a parentheses here. So you always have to have all the parentheses matched up. So I have this parentheses matched with this one with this one, this one with this one, and so on. So now you can see that I have made the back of the Yogi Bear face. Okay, and then you just continue on with each of the other layers. So that's basically how you do it. And you can see that like this immediately will give you feedback on if you did what you meant to do. And you just correct the errors here. And then last of all, I do want you to come back and let me know all the corrections you made, because those are all learnings, right? So at the very end it says write down 1 to 3 mistakes in equations or code found and corrected while programming. So while you're programming, you're going to notice that your less than or greater thans were reversed, or that one of your equations was wrong, that you used an x instead of a y, and I want to know about each one of those things that you learned specifically. Okay? Thank you.